Hey, it's Gina at Tarot and Time in Connecticut, here to give you a tarot and astrology reading for the week ahead. So, happy full moon. We had the full moon peak yesterday, Sunday morning, 8:02 a.m. It was our second Aquarius full moon in a row. So we had the first one on July 23rd, about 10:30 at night, and now the second one. So I find it very interesting times to go back. That's why it's so great to journal or keep a calendar with just little brief notes of what's going on, especially a moon calendar. I really like using these. This one's the Witch's Date book. There's a lot of different ones that you can use. We just got some in for 2022. And kind of keep an idea of what's been going on so that you can look back and learn something. So last month, July 23rd, what was happening? What were the issues? What was going on? The full moon was in Aquarius. Aquarius rules large groups of people, your friend groups, your humanitarian efforts. I think of it as very logical house, sign, very logical, very genius thinking, and very quick genius thinking. So let's look back and see what's been going on and what came up for you yesterday morning. Not only did we have the full moon, but then the sun immediately went into the sign of Virgo. So the first full moon, Sheila Haidt talks about it in her astrology report, that it was at, I believe, 1 degree of Aries or of Aquarius, and now this last one was at 29 degrees, right as it's shifted, as the sun shifted again. So just interesting times. What did we learn? What came up? And I know it was pretty intense for some of us, partly why my report is a little late this week. So. All right, so I chose the piles using the different versions of the Hanged Man because the sun is now in Virgo. We have I felt the shift right away. I noticed that I was starting to rearrange my cabinets, and Virgo loves to rearrange to get systems of order in place. We're getting back to school, all of that, good time for calendars, good time to get organized. As much as Virgo is an earth sign, it is ruled by Mercury, the same sign that rules Gemini. So it's very quick thinking. There's some of that in there too. Information is coming to us quickly. It can be surprising too, especially with that Aquarius full moon. Sometimes that bolt of information comes in and changes everything. So the Hanged Man, I'm using pile number 1. You'll see I have the After Tarot version that I'm using. So, and I'm also working with the Before Tarot. So pile number 3 is the Before. And these are based on the Rider-Waite original pictures. So the artist's rendition of a minute before, a minute after. And then the middle one here is from the Dark Mansion. So the Hangman wants us to look at things from a different perspective, take a break, take a pause, and know that the universe, for our best interest, wants us to look at things from a different perspective, especially when it comes to things that have to do with our health, because Virgo rules the house of health in astrology. So what relationships, what things are going on right now? Are they healthy for you? How can they be changed? How can you look at this from a different perspective? We have the moon. The moon went right into the sign of Pisces immediately after the full moon in Aquarius, and so we start off the week in Pisces, so maybe some cloudiness still, maybe very creative, but it moves right into Aries by Wednesday, or actually by Tuesday, the 24th, mid-afternoon. So energy is going to start picking up a lot of momentum. We know that the planet that rules Aries, Mars, is also in the sign of Virgo, along with Mercury. So right now we have a stellium, 3 or more planets in the same sign. So the sun, how we show up, our vital dynamic energy in life, is working together with this force, and really the conjunction is between Mars and Mercury, that they're there together, how we take action, how we communicate out, very detailed, and putting things in order, and then the sun is there in that same sign. So there's kind of this harmoniousness to how we're showing up right now. We also have Venus in its own sign of Libra. And by the weekend, the moon will be in the sign of Taurus. So as much as when Venus is in Libra, it's a great time to go shopping and buy some beautiful things and make your home more beautiful and all that. Then we have the moon in Taurus also. So it's going to be a really fun weekend to maybe do things like go shopping or do something to beautify the home or buy yourself something special that makes you feel good, because Venus is self-love too, not just others giving us gifts. All right, so I think that's everything I want to talk about. Let's jump into the cards. Let's pick your pile. Let's get started. I'm back with pile number 1. And here's this beautiful hanged man from the, this is the after tarot, 1 minute after. So he's really being cared for, nourished, and the universe basically has him by the ankle, looking at things from a different perspective and really allowing others also to be of service to you, to assist you, and being open to that nourishment. Okay, so some of the decks that I'm working with, I have this beautiful Dark Mansion that you've seen me work with a few times. I love it. I pulled out the Herb Crafter's Tarot because this is one of my favorites. I don't know all the plants, but that's okay. We're gonna work around it. Before Tarot, that's the minute before, and then I have the After Tarot. We just got these back in stock, so I thought I'd highlight these. So let's see what we've got going on for you this week. And I have not looked at any of these cards yet. Let's see what we've got. Here's the 8 of Cups. And so traditionally this card looks like the man in red walking away. But now here's this woman kind of looking into the cup, looking to see what's left. Some of the cups have been spilled. What truly happened? What's the clarity there? And so from the hanged man, looking at things from a different perspective, and then really looking at what really happened, especially emotionally. 2 of the cups are spilled, so it's like the relationship ended. And then she's really looking to see what happened there. She's dressed in white, so it's almost like there's been this purification. Here's the Madre of Air, Motherwort. So I believe this would be the Queen of Swords. And she's cutting back. It's interesting, like she's clearing it and she can see more clearly. The light is coming in. So there seems like there's like clarity written all over this. Let's see what's coming in your foundation position. The Hija of Air, Catnip. Look at that cat just kind of passed out there in the catnip. Just can't stop himself. So this is young energy of air, and it almost, catnip to me, like my cat will eat catnip till he's like insane. And so it's a little bit of a lack of control, and but then there's also this real relaxation going on there. So let's see what else comes up. We've got the King of Wands coming up in the background, dynamic Fire King, and the Moon. I love this Moon card because her head is the moon. She's got these rivers in her hand and it looks like a ribbon. And so the Moon, she intuitively knows what's going on. So it's almost like coming in here that there's this clarity, there was this intuition there, things need to be examined. And the King of Wands would be like a king of exposure. He would be a bright light. So there's more, you're seeing more to your picture now. Here's the Strength card, ruled by the Sun. It's interesting, it's also an 8 being placed here next to the 8 of Cups. So that infinity sign. But also the strength to walk away, to let someone go, to make choices so that you aren't always the garbage dump. Because I talk about the Strength card. The shadow side of it, in my feeling, is that people feel your strength, but sometimes they can misuse it because they know you can handle it. So they can dump on you, and it becomes that loop of you being dumped on, but having the strength to deal with it, but really never getting ahead. So Strength wants you to make decisions from your heart. Here's the Five of Pentacles. Interesting. Cold weather, coldness, but there's this light inside. So there's some kind of change of value. Change, this is a 5-year, 2021. So there's some kind of change going on. And then we have the King of Pentacles, kind of reminding us that it's all there, to remember our value, to remember who we are, and yeah. So I feel like I want to pull a couple more cards just to make sure we've gotten the gist of this. What else do you need to know this week? You have the Ace of Cups, the Three of Pentacles, and the Hermit. It's interesting, I was going to use the Hermit instead of the Hanged Man, but my pendulum said, no, use the Hanged Man, and I love that the Hermit still showed up here, because he's also considered Virgo. This is such a great version of him. Searching for what is true for him. He's a very, very wise, old man here. He's lived through a lot of things. He's got his bird on his shoulder, helping to give him wisdom. And so it's really, I'm so happy to see the Hermit. That really makes my heart feel full. He wanted to be part of this. He wants you to know that there's a bigger picture here, that these immediate things, this leaving, there's something that's left. There's something that's leaving you a little bit emotionally unclear. I feel like the beginning of this week, you need to sort through that not sure, not clear feelings. The moon's in Pisces, so you're not going to get a lot of clarity, but you may get some waves of spiritual information that come through. Can come in through your dreams, but there's going to be some kind of satisfaction that's going to come out of this. We have the Ace of Cups here, and it's interesting how she's kind of holding the Ace of Cups here and examining it. So I think of the Ace of Cups as such a satisfying card. So, but it's also a 1. So it's like there's this new way of showing up, and there's like a refreshment there. The Three of Pentacles is making plans to move forward. This is definitely Virgo. There's a lot of Virgo all over this. So, you know, as much as the summer, you know, I think of Virgo season, like the summer's coming to a close, and that's sad. But there's a lot of plans in the works. There's a lot of things that are kind of leaving you. There's a clearing that's happening, and there's some enjoyment that comes out of it. Just maybe be careful about excess. I want you to trust the feelings that are coming up, especially in your dreams, because information is being given to you that you'll be able to use in a practical way. Let me roll these dice. I have a few fun tools we're going to work with today. So our dice, we've got Saturn in Gemini in the 7th house. Okay, so Saturn, the rules, but also long success over time, long-term success. In Gemini, which wants to communicate out, right? We know Gemini's ruled by Mercury. We know Mercury is conjunct, working together with Mars right now, how you take action. So there's a lot out there about following the rules, expressing what your rules are, and then in the 7th house, which is the house of relationships. So really important time, especially your relationship with yourself. So we know we have Venus in its own sign. All right, I'm going to use some of these Scrabble letters, see what words we can make for you, and we'll use a couple charms. All right, that's a lot of letters. I'm going to pull a couple out. Okay. Well, you got a Z and a V and a blank one there, which is always fun. The first letter first one that's jumping out to me is free. And how wonderful is that? I also got freeze and freezes. So interesting too, because there's this like poverty mentality card here, snowing, feeling locked out, feeling maybe abandoned a bit, and we do see some energy leaving. So maybe there's this old fear of being left out in the cold, of being not seen, of not cared for. Although we started off with the card of someone there caring for you, nourishing you, giving you the nourishment. So know that you're not alone, that you will not be left out in the cold. I've got bands. Oh, I have bands. Music bands. And yeah, and then we've got this blank one we could use, but I guess you can use it how you want to. All right, well, that's what I've got. I'll take a picture of it so you can play with rearranging the letters yourself. Freezes and bands. So let me pull a couple charms and see if I get anything else, and we might get a couple more letters in here too. All right, we got the music sign, and we did get bands. We've got a crown and we've got a lot of things. We've got this ring stuck to this zipper. Interesting. We've got some peace signs and some angels and a moose and a turtle and an anchor, the number 55. We also got this little, to make music here. So we've got a lot of reference to music, and maybe music is really healing for you. We're talking about the house of health and about what nourishes you. So maybe it's time to just kind of listen to some music, relax a little bit, and definitely with the whole catnip thing there. And let's see, we also got this letter R. So we had some extra, I don't know if I'm getting anything else, but anyways, there's an R there. All right, so all in all, I would say have a great week. Make sure to express yourself, especially in relationships, right? And we got this zipper on this ring. And so a zipper exposes, right? And there's a lot of stuff here saying that information will be exposed to you. Treat yourself well, stay grounded, don't have too much catnip or whatever your version of catnip is. Don't overdo it. Remember that this is a real time to think about your health. The season's going to start changing, right? So and it's interesting, freezes comes up. Like if you're overdoing it, like ice cream, things, cold foods, right? We're going to go into a colder season. We need more warm foods, nice soups, that kind of stuff. And maybe you've had a really intense summer, maybe because, we were in COVID, you went out and really lived it up. So now is the time to start kind of harnessing it down, getting more grounded, having more like root vegetables, more grounded foods. Right now, the harvest season's here, so there's a lot of great stuff at your farmer's market. So get out there and think about your health and well-being and express what really is true to you as part of your health and well-being. Have a great week. Back with pile number 2. The beautiful hanged man here from the Dark Mansion Tarot. Looks like a spider. So I think you've seen this deck before. Dark Mansion, fabulous. A little bit pricier than some of our other decks. I think it's marked at $89, but it's so worth it. Okay, let me show you the other decks I'm working with. We just got these back in stock before tarot. So it's a minute before the classic Rider-Waite photos. Here's after, 1 minute, 1 minute after. Really fun. And then I got my Herb Crafters Tarot. I love it so much. I'm not the best with the plants, but we'll try to work around that. So let's see what we've got going on for you this week ahead. All right, we're starting off here with the Devil, Blackberry. Such a pretty version. Interesting that Blackberry is the Devil. So there's this pie made up, all the ingredients there, being offered to you. There's something being offered to you. Now, the Devil is ruled by Saturn, right? It rules the rules, and it also is kind of like what do we criminalize, what do we demonize, what do we put blame on? So let's kind of look at it like that. We have the Ace of Wands, so something new coming in. The Hanged Man asking us to look at things from a different perspective. Here's the Five of Wands. It's like Main Street, USA. Everybody's showing up. They've got their wand. It seems like they're playing nice for now, but it could change at any moment. So there's a lot of... It's interesting that here's this Ace of Wands that's being kind of handed to you. And then here's all these wands there. Everybody's got one. So there may be some conflicting ideas about what's right and wrong. There may be a need to pause and take a look at what's going on. Let's see what's coming in your foundation position of this reading. We have the Death card. So there's a lot of intense energy going on for you right now. Death is clearing things out of the way. So there's this, maybe there's been some fighting. Maybe you've been fighting over the rules of how things are supposed to work or how things are supposed to function. And there's a change coming in. This change is out of your control. It's going to clear the way for you. And so we also have the 5 here. This is also indicating change. Something, a new way to look at things. See what's going on in the background. We have the High Priestess. Major Arcana number 2 in relationship, right? Anything in 2 is in relationship. With like the yin and yang, with the this is supposed to be King Solomon's temple, the white and the black there. And so she is very intuitive. She trusts her feelings of what's coming up. Here's the 7 of Wands. So there's a lot. You're overseeing a lot. There's a lot coming at you. You need to trust your feelings. 7 of Fire, Cinnamon, which is actually the same exact card as this. Okay, but in what I'm seeing is with it in the background, it's been going on. It's been, there's been a lot coming at you, but now with the 7 of Fire, the Cinnamon, it's that you're making something beautiful out of it. And also it's interesting that it's almost like kind of got this like Day of the Dead kind of reference there when we had the Death card at the bottom. And then the Devil coming up is this pie. So there's something spicy, something on your spiritual path that you're going to make the best of this change. And here's the King of Wands. And it's interesting that that wand is actually coming out. That hand is offering him that wand to take action. So we know that Mars, the planet of action, is together, working together with Mercury, how we communicate. And so you're keeping offered this chance, this fresh perspective, this new opportunity, almost to take control and make something beautiful. And really, the Devil keeps making me feel like things that other people might say, oh, you shouldn't do that, or that doesn't work, or maybe it's some outdated ideas that you have about things. I want to see what things. Is this like more business stuff? Or is this more personal stuff? Okay, it's the 2 of Swords, personal, anything else. Okay, it seems that it's about a relationship. Here's the 2 of Swords. She's kind of pondering these 2 swords here, anything 2 in relationship. Here's the Page of Cups, offering this cup of satisfaction, and then this 4 of Wands came up that's like, looks like a love relationship. So, there's something you just have to really pay attention to the gut feeling that's coming up. There's changes coming in this week that you don't have control over those. You have control over your perspective and looking through your mentality of what rules you play by. What moral rules do you play by? And you have to make decisions that work for you and not just conflict with others. Sometimes it's okay to just ponder your decisions and kind of keep that to yourself in a way. There's a lot of people looking to argue these days, especially on the internet. So take your stance, make sure it's true to you, and it's almost like all the things coming at you right now, you're gonna make something beautiful out of it. So let's pull a couple more cards, and then we're gonna use some Scrabble letters and some Astro dice and some charms. All right, we've got got two cards that jump out here. We've got the Three of Pentacles and the Hierophant. Okay, so the Three of Pentacles, looks like they have plans, making some plans. And then the Hierophant, which is the card of the year for 2021. It's card 5, Major Arcana. There's going to be, you can have all the plans you want, but there's going to be changes that you're going to need to make and you're going to need to adapt to. Especially when it has to do with your relationship. There's a lot of different opinions, but there's this new opportunity. There's a new opportunity to consider, especially if this is a male-female relationship, there's something there about the power of the woman and how it really has been pushed down over time, and maybe looking through your thought process to what it is that you were taught about equality and making those changes now. Maybe your religious beliefs taught you that women were to be treated in a certain way. That's what's coming up for me. And maybe this is a good time to start looking through that and sorting through that old belief system. Virgo's a great time to sort, and you can sort your mind. And so the Hierophant wants to expand. It's ruled by Jupiter. It wants to expand the horizons, the possibilities. It's ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter just on the full moon was where they were together. So Jupiter wants to bring in bigger blessings and gifts and allow it to happen. Some things will be cleared out. You do not have control over that. You have control over what you bring in. We've got the 9, which is the Hierophant's house. We've got Pluto, which rules death, and we have Aries. Pluto and Aries in the 9th house. Pluto wants to transform anything that isn't working for you, especially emotions. It rules death and it rules new beginnings. And so you have that in the sign of Aries, which is dynamic action. And we know that the moon is in Aries Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of this week. So there's dynamic action that can be taken. 9th house, Jupiter's house, the bigger picture. What do you believe? What are your morals? What needs to be changed? What needs to be updated? What is going to help the future generations? That's what I'm seeing. All right, let's pull a few letters. This is kind of a fun little added element. All right, what do we've got here? We've got D, E, and okay, D, E. Deer is the first word that's coming out to me. D-E-A-R, deer and deers. Pear and pears, like the fruit. The word reap and reaps. There's a lot of things you can do here. For maybe not. Froze, interesting. Freezing came up in the first round. That's very interesting to me. So something about like the froze word is just making me feel like there's just outdated things. There's things that's like, it's been this way, it's set in stone, this is the way it is, and it's time for that to change. Craps, which is like, isn't that a game? Gambling game? And interesting. All right, we'll see what words you can come up with. I'm gonna pull a few charms. There might be a few more letters that come out. See what we've got going on here. The word felt. Felt froze. What else? We've got a knife here. We've got the citrine on this tree of life. Prosperity. There's a lot of trees. We've got some angels, a hope symbol. Castle. It's interesting that the castle kind of fell on top of this devil card. We're talking about old, outdated things. There's a baby up here. So yeah, so just kind of feel your feelings, see what's outdated, what's frozen in time, what needs to change. Take a look from a different perspective. Know that the change is going to come in, that there's a certain amount that's going to come in that you do not have control over. And you can make peace with that by shifting your perspective the Hanged Man, just kind of taking it from a different viewpoint. And then allow the expansion of greatness. You've got a lot of implications towards Jupiter that wants to expand your worlds. So let it happen. Have a great week. Pile number 3, this beautiful Hanged Man from the Before Tarot. There's the other way. Love that he has the crows at the top that are communicating with him, bringing him information. I really think of crows as communicators of the underworld. And so there's information being brought to you if you can just look at things from a different perspective. So let's see what's going on this week ahead. We're working with some fabulous decks. The Dark Mansion Tarot, one of my new favorites. The Herb Crafters Tarot, which is one of my old favorites. Not the best at the plants, but hey, that's all right. And then we just got these back in stock. So this is the Before Tarot, 1 minute before, the Rider-Waite original classic pictures, and then the After Tarot. They really are fun ones. All right, so let's see what you need to know this week ahead. We're starting off with the 5 of Swords. Pretty intense. How was that full moon for you? Was it intense? Swords is air. Aquarius is the air sign, right? It's the water bearer, so it needs to learn how to pour from the heart of the mind to the heart, the mind and the heart, the back and forth. So it can't be all logic all the time, right? Kind of exhausting. And 5 is indicating a need for change. 2021 is a 5-year change of thought. Here's the World card. I love this version of the World card, looking like pictures hanging on the wall. And so there's an end, there's some closure here. Also getting like there's a certain way of thinking that's been handed down for generations in your family line. And now is a time to really take a look at that, what's going on. Here's the 3 of Cups coming in to support this World card. So there's this celebration, this gathering together, like-minded people. Your foundation position, we have the 8 of Pentacles. So pretty busy at work, staying busy. And Aries, the moon's going to be in Aries most of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and even into Friday. So it's a pretty good spell of Aries. So action, getting things done. In the background, we have the 4 of Wands. Looks like they're leaving on a honeymoon or vacation. Coming in the background. And the Page of Wands also looks like he's leaving town. So maybe you've been on vacation. Maybe that's what you've been, and now you're coming back into this reality. 10 of Air, Alfalfa. That sword up at the top there, ready to clear things out of the way. And the 3 of Water, which is actually the same card as the 3 of Cups. In this one, it's called Lemon Balm. So relaxing, calming, enjoyable. So different from the 10 of Air. 10 of Air, 10 of Swords, you know, traditionally it looks like a bunch of swords in your back. This one is just this reaper ready to come in and clear cut. So there's some thoughts that need to be changed. There's a shift. There's some things that maybe you've always done that are ready to change. The exhaustingness of it all is ready to be changed. Let me pull a few more cards. So what else is important for you to know this week? The Ace of Wands and the Judgment card. I think this is my all-time favorite Judgment card. Look at that party, right? So Judgment is Pluto. It's, you know, Scorpio. It's the old stuff needing to go. And so it's like they're having this like wedding party. There's a shift here of the relationships. I'm just seeing it as there's things there that are outdated. There's a mindset that's outdated that was taught to you by your family. Virgo wants you to sort and sift and look at things from a different perspective. You have this new opportunity to clear up things that are no longer working for you. There's also a lot of joy here. It's like there's deep work, but it's going to like clear the way for you. And so let me pull a couple more because I feel like I'm missing something still. Let's go in with this one. The Eight of Wands, Temperance, interesting. We had the Fool fall out and the Queen of Cups. Okay, so Eight of Wands, he's an archer, so very Sagittarius-like. This is often called the honeymoon card, or travel, or expansion, right? And then Temperance is a Sagittarius card. And we know that that full moon that we just had was conjunct with Jupiter. So whatever changes that came in Aquarius, it rules that lightning bolt. So whatever changes came in really wants to expand your world. There's a huge expansion going on here. The Queen of Cups wants you to trust your feelings, trust the emotions coming up, pay attention to it, take a look at it, sort and sift it. And here's the Fool, which is so Aquarian. So there's something new. The World card being the last major arcana, it's coming up in your heart position, and then the Fool card being the last tarot card being pulled. It actually fell out, which is the beginning of the journey. So there's something shifting here. There's some old thoughts that can't come with you anymore. There's some outdated stuff. I just listened to Sheila Height's astrology report, and she talks about writing down, she talked about it for the full moon, but we're still in that cusp of that full moon. So she talked about writing down some things that you blame yourself for. And this card feels very heavy to me in that. And especially when it comes to your family or relationships that you had, or maybe friends, because Aquarius is all about friends. But there's something there, there's some guilt, there's some old stuff. And she talks about writing it down and then cutting it up. Like Virgo likes precision, it would rule like surgery, things like that. And so cutting that piece of paper up more and more. And so I'm in the process of doing that myself. And I think after I cut it up as much as I want, I'm gonna burn it. And I'm gonna flush it down the toilet and let it go. And then she says to make a list of the things that you want to grow, to expand, because all that Jupiter energy was there. So even if you missed the full moon, do it today. And expand the things you want and lay to rest the things that didn't work, especially in regards to your family, to your marriage, to your relationship, whatever it is, or to your friend group, the role that you play in it. And there's something about you playing this very, there's like a party-like vibe there. And so whatever that may be for you, take a look at it. Okay, I'm gonna roll these dice. It's the Sun in Pisces in the 10th house. So the sun shining brightly in a sign of Pisces that's very creative, but they're also can be very sad sometimes because Pisces feels so much. And we had the Queen of Cups over here, feeling. And so allowing yourself to feel the sadness, maybe you just need to have a good cry this week and move on from it. And in the 10th house, which is actually like the house of work, the house of your career, the house of long-term success, and yet there's something here about, it's like very opposite with like Sun in Pisces, dreamy, creative, a little bit sad, and then in this house of like work rules, and the world is ruled by Saturn, which rules the 10th house. So there's something there about some outdated stuff that needs to be freed up, cleaned out. I'm feeling like salt bath or get to the ocean, some kind of freeing, and maybe it's just doing that, cutting things up. And with Judgment here, I like the idea of you burning it too, safely flushing it down the toilet. So allow things to be cleared out for you. There's a lot of sadness that can be cleared out for you this week. See what else we have. Charms. We got this rolling number 071. Hematite in the center, flower, the 8 infinity symbol. We've got a beautiful owl and an airplane. A little baby, letter G, an acorn. This says one tree planted. Okay, and I'm gonna do a few letters and see what we have coming up there. Oop, that's a few too many. I'm gonna throw a couple back in. Okay, let's see what we've got. It's kind of fun to make words, see what shows up. Let's see if it has any relevance to you. What do I have? G-A-V. What is not, I'm not getting much. I got hot and P-R-A-Y, pray. Pray. And got hoot, which we had an owl too. Okay, G-A-V. Well, that's all I've got, but you can fool around with this. I'm gonna take a picture of it. So, interesting, hoot and pray, and this little owl, and the world with all of this ancestor stuff going on. So, I really feel like it never hurts to pray, to ask for help from your ancestors, ask for their wisdom. With Pisces, you can tap into that realm, and who this owl, owls are very symbolic to me of people who have passed. So I think there's some cleaning up work that you can do here of inherited behavior, laying some things to rest, and really starting a new path of freedom, expanding what you want. So it's a pretty dynamic week for you. Enjoy it.